Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of the tutorials on Nextflow for bioinformatics. In this tutorial, we are going to look at how to write a simple hello world script using Nextflow. And so just stay tuned. Now for this tutorial, if you are going to follow, you need to make sure that you have Nextflow installed on your PC. I have a tutorial that shows how to install Nextflow in Linux. So check the description box and you'll find a link to that video. So once you are done with it, then you can start the tutorial. So let's get started. Now, for this tutorial, we are going to use the instruction that has been given on this page, this Nextflow tutorial page here. So I'll leave the link to this page in the description box. Now, for the sake of beginners, I'll quickly go through how Nextflow works. And so this figure here, this picture here, I thought would be very, very good for beginners to use it to understand how the Nextflow works. So I'll use that. So the link to this page is in the description box. So Nextflow, a typical Nextflow script comprises of processes, and then you can also have channels. Okay, so we have processes and then channels. So processes are the tasks. All right, so let's just say you want to perform variant calling. You perform QC, quality control on the data. You perform trimming. You perform mapping. And after mapping, you maybe process the BAM files, and then you call your variant. And even after the variant call, you also do some process on the VCF. So each of these points is a task. And so in Nextflow, it's going to be a process. All right. So quality control is a process. Trimming is a process. Mapping is a process. Variant calling is a process. All right. So all these are processes. All right. Now, for the process, the tasks, some of the tasks will require input files or data, all right, which has been given here. All right, we have the processes here, process A, B, C, D, and we also have data here. All right, now with the processes, if they require an input, all right, then that's where the channels come in. Okay, so channels will connect processes together, and they will also connect inputs to processes. And if, let's say, process D requires the output of process A, then another channel will also connect process A and then D. So the channels act as middlemen, all right, and they allow data to flow. They allow information to flow. They allow messages to flow in between processes. So in a nutshell, this is how the Nextflow pipeline works. So you have processes, you have channels, and then they will link, or they will try to send information to the various processes. So information, in some tutorials you see values, sometimes you also see data, but these are all information messages. So basically that's how it works. All right, so for this tutorial we are going to make it very simple. All right, so don't worry much, I'll take you through them step by step so that beginners will understand. So that's why we are starting the hello world, because I thought that would be a good starting point. All right, so let's get started. So let's open our terminal. Again, instructions for installing Nextflow can be found in the description box, so check it and then set up your PC. All right, now let's get started. So I'll open my terminal now, which is this one here. All right, so we will start. So first of all, I'll create a directory on my terminal. All right, I'll create a directory. So I'll say make the Nextflow. All right, I'm assuming this is a project. I always recommend that if you are going to start any project or activity, you create a directory and then you cd into it, and then you can start your work. That will allow you to separate the file you generate from others. It will also prevent you from accidentally modifying files that are already on your system. So it's always important to do this. So let's cd into the Nextflow directory. Right, now we are done. We can start. Let me clear the screen. All right. So we are going to create a hello world script. So let's do this. So we are going to use a text editor also. For text editor, I prefer to use Nano, but you can use VI. All right. So let's do this. Let's say nano, and let's say hello.nf. All right. And then let's open it. All right. So when we are here, there are things we will add later on, but for now, I want us to keep it simple. So some of the things I will omit. I will later talk about them. So that's what we are going to create a process, which is a task. All right. So let's just go back to the Nextflow tutorial here. So you see this, you see process hello world. So the process here refers to what? A task. So that means this task that we are going to perform is called hello world. In variant column, maybe you can say, for example, mapping or quality control. All right. Let me just enlarge it. All right. So we are going to create something like this. All right. Now with this command, you will see what we have here. It says echo hello world, and then we direct to a file. So that means this text will be directed to a file. And this is a bash command, basically. All right. So we will do something like that here. All right. So let's get back. And you also see your curly brackets. All right. So the process, say hello in programming in Python, for example, I'll maybe relate this to a function. All right. So that's it. So let's get back. All right. So I've opened my Nextflow script, which is called hello.nf. And so I'll say process. Now say hello. And then I'll bring my curly brackets. So we start with the curly brackets and we end with a curly brackets. All right. So that lets Nextflow know the commands that it has to assign to the process say hello. All right. So that's what we have here. So now inside, we will now execute our command. So for this tutorial, we are keeping it very, very simple. And so that's what we are going to do. The commands, you have to place them in this. So we have 3 double quotes and then another 3 double quotes. All right. Then inside the double quotes, we will execute our commands, or we will enter our commands and then we will execute them later. All right. Okay. So that's what we are going to do. We are also going to say echo. I repeat, we are also going to use the echo command. So echo, I bring a quotes. Let me use a single quote. I'll say hello world. You can also bring your exclamation mark. That's fine. Then we direct to a file. So I'll say file.txt. You can use any name of your choice. This time you can experiment. You can go all out. That's fine. Nothing will happen. All right. So we have this. All right. So we have completed the command for the process say hello. Now, before we execute the script, we also need to add something else. That is the workflow. That is what will actually execute the task for us, or the process. All right. So we have to add that. So for that one, it also has to go to this other line, the line after that curly brackets. All right. It has to be like this. All right. And so when you come here, you will say workflow. You bring a curly bracket. You can also bring another one here. All right. And then in between, now with the curly brackets, it can be anywhere. That's fine. I mean, it's up to you, but just make sure it's there. And then in between, all right, I'll just bring a space here just for clarity. I'll say hello. All right, so this is it. And then I'll bring this one here. So in that workflow, you have to call the process say hello, because when Nextflow execute the script, it looks for workflow and then everything in it is executed. Okay, so that's how it is. So it's just like, let's say in Python, you create your function first and then later on you call the function. All right, so it's something similar. All right, so that's what we have. So this becomes our final script. Let's exit and save the changes, and that's fine. So now I'll just say cat, or let's just use ls first to confirm that the file is there. I'll say cat hello.nf. Okay, I have everything there. All right, so this is the command. All right, now if you want the files, you can always check the description box. The link to the materials will be there. All right, okay, so this is our script. And so what do? We have to call Nextflow. So to call Nextflow, we say Nextflow run, and then we specify the script or the file that has the command. So this is it. So let's execute this command. So once we execute it, Nextflow will launch and then it will execute everything for us. All right. So it has been done. Okay. So far you've not seen any error message. This is fine. But let's look at something. The command we entered is supposed to save this hello world to a file. And so we should see a file created which has this text. So let's clear the screen and do an ls. Let's do an ls. All right. We don't see the file. Okay. Now the file will be in the work directory. You will see that a directory called work has been created. Let's ls into it. You'll find another directory. All right. So ls work/2c. You'll find another directory. All right. So in that directory, you'll find that file. Okay. I will explain everything. All right. Now let's do this. So why do we have this? This is because we did not explicitly specify the path that the file should be saved to, or the directory. And so Nextflow automatically creates a directory and then it saves the file there. Okay, so there's something I thought I'll bring to your attention. So it's advisable that you specify a path that you know so that you don't end up searching for files. Of course, if you still want to search for files, I have a tutorial on that shows how to search for files on Linux systems. So if let's say you are looking for files, you can still use that tutorial to help you search for your files anywhere. All right, but let's streamline it better. So this time what we are going to do is to modify the script and specify a path, okay, that the file will be saved to. So that's what we are going to do next. So let's edit the hello.nf again. So I'll say nano hello. Yeah, but before I even do that, let me just do this for the sake of beginners. I'll do this. So I would like to save it in my current directory where I'm working now. All right. So I'll just do a pw to look at the path. This is my path. The directory, that's where I am now. So what I'm going to do is to use the same path and then add a slash file.txt, and then I'll get it created for me in my current working directory. So let's edit the hello.nf file. So I'll say nano hello.nf, and then when I come here, I'll just say /home/this/nextflow/this. You can also use any path of your choice. That's up to you, but just make sure it's in a location where you can easily access it. All right. So let's save the changes. Let's edit and save the changes. So I'll just use Ctrl X, type Y, and save it. All right. So that's what I have. So now I'm going to execute Nextflow again. So I'll say Nextflow, and then I'll say run, and I'll say hello.nf. So let's execute this command. All right, so we have done it. So Nextflow will launch and then perform the task for us. All right, it's done. So now let's do an ls. We are going to find our file here, file.txt. Okay, let's just clear the screen and do it again. ls, we have it, and I'll say cat file.txt, and I'm going to find it there. All right, so this is so cool. All right, so that's what we have. So I think it should be fine. So now we have created our hello world script, but we are going to do some modification. We will add more to it. It's a hello world script, but I'll use this opportunity to tell you more about Nextflow. All right, so let's continue. All right, so let's take a look at the script again. Let's nano into it. So if you take a look at what we did the echo hello world, and then we saved the output to a file. But sometimes you may want to display text on the screen. Let's say hello world, for example. So how do we do that? Okay, so that's what we are going to do next. All right. So I think what I'll do is that I'll make a copy of the script and I'll edit it. All right, so that we don't end up messing the original file, or let's say the first script. So I'll just make a cp. I'll say hello2.nf, and then I'll use that one. So I want you to also make a copy and then use that one. So we are now going to edit this one here, the hello2.nf. All right. Now I even forgot that with Nextflow, you can also give comments. I forgot to talk about that. And so maybe in another tutorial, I'll let you know how comments are also written. Or you can also check the Nextflow tutorial page. You'll find the information there. All right. So let's do this. Let's edit the hello2.nf, and then we are here. So here, if let's say we want to display on the screen, then that means we don't need this one here. These ones, we don't need them. All right. Okay. So that's what, let me just say, yeah, hello worship, or let's say hello subscribers. Yeah, to all my subscribers. Okay, now let's save the change. So that's all that we've modified. That's all that we've changed. So let's exit and then execute. Now that's what's going to happen. Let's try to execute. So let's say Nextflow run hello2.nf. Now if you run it like this, then this is what's going to happen. We are not going to see the hello subscribers or the hello world being displayed for you because of how Nextflow has been built. All right. So if you want to display text on the screen, then we need to add an additional option. All right. So we have to add this. So we will say, let me just, so to execute a script which is supposed to display a text on the screen, I mean the Nextflow script, right, which is in this case this one here, we say Nextflow run hello2.nf, and then we say dash process.echo. All right, so let's execute this command. So this, when you execute it, will display the text on the screen for us. Okay, so that is what we have here. So we have hello subscribers. If let's say you want to use your hello world, then let's edit it. Maybe some of you still want that. We can edit it. I'll use the hello world again. Yeah. And then this time, yeah, it's the same command. You just execute it like this and it will be displayed for you. All right. So this will execute it for. So now you have your hello world. You can also use your name. That's fine. And that's cool. All right. So that's what you have. Okay. Now let's continue. Now let's do this. Let's just display the hello2 command again. So I'll just do a cast to display the commands, and I'll explain something here. Now, Nextflow by default executes commands using bash. That's the default program. All right. So this is a bash command. We did not specify anything. So Nextflow will use the bash. We'll use bash to execute it. But it's possible that some of you may want to issue maybe Python commands or R commands or Perl commands or whatever. It's possible to do that in Nextflow. So all I have to do to add an additional information to tell Nextflow that this command should be executed with Python. All right. So that's what we are going to do next. So we are now going to write hello world scripts again, but this time we will use Python to display the contents. All right, you will use Python to display the hello world. Okay, and then from there, if you want to use R or Perl or whatever, you can also use that. I will just demonstrate with Python and then you can proceed. Okay, so let's continue. Now let's do this. Let's just copy the scripts. I'll copy the hello2. You can also copy the other one. I'll just say hello. Let's say python.nf. That's what I'll use. All right, I'll do an ls. So I have that also copied. All right, so I'll do this. That's what I'll do. I am going to edit it and show you how to add that information. All right, so in your process, okay, just after your 3 double quotes, you add this shebang line. So this is it. I'll say /user/bin/python. Okay, and then you can now enter your Python commands here. It's also possible to add another process, okay, and then just use that, but I just want to edit just one here to make it simple. So instead of using the echo, this time we'll use a Python command itself. So I'll say print hello world. All right, like this. You can also use single quotes if you want. It still works. Let's try that. Let me add a single quote. If that's what you want, you can also do that. That's fine. So now Python will be used to execute the scripts. All right, this is it. Now let's exit and save the changes. Now, if you are not sure of the path, all right, let's do this. If you're not sure, you can just say which Python. If you have Python installed, you can say which Python, okay, to display where it is, and then you can modify and then add that here. So mine is /user/bin/python. All right, so that's what I have here. Okay, so that's what I've done here. So we can do that. So now I'm going to run Nextflow again. Okay, and then I'll just say Nextflow. It's the same one. So Nextflow run. This time it's hello python.nf admin-process.echo, and then I'll execute it. So this will display it for us. So we have that here, hello world. All right. Okay, so that's how we do it. All right. So it has been good. Now you know how to write a simple hello world Nextflow script. We are going to build up on it. This is the first episode in the series. I'm going to add more tutorials on Nextflow. And also, if let's say you think there's something which should have been added and I didn't make mention of it, I'll be happy if you can just put it in the comment section for others to also learn more. All right. So again, check the description box. Instructions for installing Nextflow can be found there. And also check the description box. You'll find the links to the materials we have used. All right. So this is where I bring the tutorial to an end, and I will see you in the next session. Now, if you're also interested in other bioinformatics tutorials, just check my videos. There are playlists for you, and then you can learn more. All right. So see you in the next session.